I killed 5 businesses before I turned 25, like a vape shop, clothing brand, gift boxes, hookah bar. All of these businesses failed, and not because the ideas were bad, but because I was doing everything myself and had no systems to run all of that. Then I became an executive assistant and learned something that changed everything for me. Successful people don't work harder, they build systems that do the work for them. Then I went from an executive assistant to a CTO of an 8-figure company, and then built my own business to $250,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And I'm the same person, just different approach. So I stopped grinding and started systematizing everything. And today I'm sharing the 5 systems that I built, one failure at a time. These systems help me to turn the chaos into the consistency. And if you're working hard but not seeing results, this is why. So let's get into it. There are 5 systems that changed everything for me, and system number 5, that's the one that actually built the business for me. But you need the first 4 to make it work. So system number 1, learn enough to lead. Here is what nobody tells you. You don't need to be the best at something to build a business around it. You need to be good enough to deliver results and smart enough to know what great actually looks like in that business. I learned this at 16 in the high school dorm somewhere in Poland. All the other kids were partying, doing whatever teenagers do, and I was in my room watching YouTube tutorials on graphic design, browsing dribbles for hours, studying how other designers build their work. I wasn't naturally talented or anything, I just liked the design and I wanted to make money from it. So I started selling logos on freelancing platforms. I would charge just like $5 per logo and undercut everyone. And the first few were like absolutely terrible, like frustrating as hell. But then someone paid me money, like actually, and then another person and another person. And that's the first time I made real money like remotely. And I realized I don't need to be the best designer in the world. I just need to be good enough that somebody will pay money for that. So I kept learning. I would increase my price with like every new client until I found the ceiling, what people were actually willing to pay to me. $5 became 50, 50 became 500, and then I realized if I just do logos, I cap out. But if I learned web design, for example, I can charge more. So I taught myself Adobe Muse back then, and then WordPress, then other website builders. Every new skill unlocked a higher price point for me. But here's the thing, I never became world class at any of them. I became good enough to deliver value to clients, and later good enough to hire people that were better than me, and I know if their work is actually good or not because I learned this basic of the skill. So that's the system. Learn up to like 80%, deliver results, or just delegate and move to the next skill. There is a research on this. It's called the Pareto principle. 20% of the skills get you 80% of the result. You don't need like 10,000 hours to be useful. You need 20 hours to be competent enough and maybe 100 hours to be like dangerous in the skill. Then you can either use that skill to teach someone else to do it better for you. So learn to 80%, deliver the results, or just delegate and then move to the next skill. That's how you stack your capabilities. You are not trying to master everything in the world. You are trying to build a skill stack that makes you irreplaceable. So here's how you can apply this. I call it the 80-20, so the Pareto principle. Step 1, identify the skill that unlocks the next level for you. Like ask yourself, what's blocking my growth right now? For me at 16, it was the design. I couldn't sell services if I couldn't deliver them. So I learned how to create logos, how to do all of that. Then step 2, learn to 80% competence. You are not trying to be the best in the world. You are trying to be useful. For design, that meant like 100 hours watching tutorials, copying styles, doing practice projects and so on. Like not 10,000 hours. You need just enough to deliver value. Then step number 3, use it to create results or evaluate others. Like once you hit the 80%, you have 2 options. Use the skills yourself to make money or hire somebody better than you and manage them because now you know what good actually looks like. I did all of the logos myself until I could afford to hire designers and then I just managed them. And step 4, move to the next skill. The moment you can delegate or automate the current skill, start learning the new one. For me, that was web development. After that, it was the project management. After that, the operations. Like each skill unlocks the next level for you. So that's the system. You're not building mastery. You are building a skill stack. But once you learn the skill, how do you actually stand out? How do you go from like useful to irreplaceable? That's the system number 2. The system number 2 is to always deliver the goal plus 1. Most people focus on completing the tasks. That's not enough. You need to understand the actual goal, then deliver one level beyond it. That's how you get promoted. That's how you build a reputation. I learned this 2 months into my first real job as an executive assistant. I was working remotely from Poland, and I get on a call with my boss Kasim, and he tells me that we have a problem. Our Google Ads vendor just tried to force us into a exclusive contract and wanted to double their prices, and we said no to them, and they gave us 30 days to move all of our clients out of their management under our own. Every client we had was at risk, and all the revenue of the agency was on the line as well. And Kasim said that we need to find another vendor really fast, and I could have just done that, search for vendors, send him a list, and the problem solved, task is done. But I knew that this wasn't the actual goal. The goal wasn't to find a vendor. The goal was to save the clients and take back the control. So I volunteered. I told Kasim that let me build the system. Let me work with our specialist, strategist John Moran, our Google Ads guy, and we will bring everything in house. I wasn't supposed to do that. That wasn't my job by any means, but I knew that it was the right move. So we spent 2 weeks documenting the entire SOP, every step of how John used to be managing the accounts, and then we started testing it. And we didn't just replace the vendor, we exceeded what they were doing, because now we had the full visibility into the client's performance and we could actually optimize it. Within a month, I went from NEA to managing half the accounts myself in this agency, and my salary doubled. And I built the hiring process to bring on more specialists so I could eventually replace myself from that role as well. The task was find vendors, but the goal was to save the business. And the plus one was to build a system that makes us better than any vendor ever could. That's the difference. Okay, here is the reality. Your boss has maybe hundreds of problems. If you solve the one that they asked about, then you're just useful. If you solve the one that they asked about plus the two that they haven't even thought of yet, then you're just irreplaceable. That's how you get promoted, and this is how you become irreplaceable in the company. So don't just complete the task, understand the outcome and then deliver beyond it. If someone expects to receive one, figure out how to give them two. That's how you build a reputation that compounds. So here's how to actually apply this. I call it a goal plus one system. Okay, step one, ask what's the actual goal. When someone gives you a task, don't just start executing. Ask, what are we trying to achieve here? What problems are we trying to solve? If your boss says find a vendor, the goal might be take back the control of the client accounts. That's completely different from the task, so that will change everything. Step two, identify what exceptional looks like. Once you know the goal, ask yourself, what would make this not just acceptable, but exceptional? Finding a vendor is acceptable, but building an internal system that is better than any vendor, that's exceptional. Step three, deliver the task plus one unexpected value add-on. It doesn't have to be massive. It just has to be something that they didn't ask for that would make their lives easier. In my case, it was the SOP, the hiring process, and the taking on accounts myself so the company wouldn't miss a beat. And step four, make it a pattern, not a one-off thing. One over-delivery is nice, but consistent over-delivery builds a reputation. Every project, every task, every interaction, ask yourself, what's the plus one here? Do that for the 6 months and watch what happens. That's the system. Okay, so now you're over delivering, you're getting noticed, and you're moving up. But what happens when you become too valuable in your current role? How do you keep on climbing when you have something like that? That's the system number three. System number three is document, delegate, and then disappear. Here is what sounds backwards but actually works. You can't get promoted if you're irreplaceable. If you're the only one who can do your job, you're stuck in the job forever. The way up is to make yourself redundant. So after I built the Google Ads SOP that I was talking about and started managing accounts myself, I did that for about 6 months, but the whole time I knew that this doesn't scale. If I'm the one managing accounts, we can only grow as fast as I can work. And that's the ceiling. So I started documenting everything that I was doing. Every call with John Moran, I recorded that, and all of his daily checks, all of these weekly audits, monthly optimization processes, all of that. Then I would rewatch the videos, break down what he was doing and why, and write it into an SOP inside of our ClickUp. At first, we made it insanely detailed, every single click, step-by-step screenshots, all of that. But then we realized that nobody was following it because it was just way too much. So we shortened the process and we focused on the frameworks and relied on the specialist existing knowledge to fill in the gaps. Then we started hiring. We would bring in Google Ads specialists, walk them through the SOP, have them shadow a few accounts, and within a month, they were managing accounts on their own. Once we had a team running the accounts without me, I disappeared from that role. I moved into a technical team lead, overseeing documentation, CRM, project management tools, and so on. That eventually led to the CTO position that I assumed. And here is the key. I didn't stay in that role either. We hired the head of the specialist team to take over the hiring and the training from me. And I just documented what I was doing, trained them, and moved up again. Same system, just different altitude. So document, delegate, and disappear. I did it from EA to team lead to CTO, and I'm doing it right now at Pareto as well. Allow the business to keep running with you at every level. That's how you scale yourself. Here is the truth. Companies promote people who solve problems, not people who are the solution. If you are the only one who can do something critical, you are too valuable to be promoted. You are stuck in that position, basically. But if you can train somebody to do your job at 80% of your level, then you've just proven that you can build systems and scale teams. That's what leaders do. Now, something counterintuitive. The way to become irreplaceable is to keep making yourself replaceable. That sounds completely backwards, and it works. Every time you document your role and train somebody else to do it, you prove that you can scale beyond yourself. So here's how to actually apply it. I call it 3D: document, delegate, disappear. Step 1, document everything that you do in your current role. You don't need perfection, you just need clarity. Start with Loom videos or a Google Doc, record yourself doing the work, walk through your daily, weekly, monthly tasks, capture the decisions that you make and why you make them. Even if it's messy, get it out of your head and into a system someone else can follow. Step 2 is to train somebody to 80% of your capability. You are not trying to clone yourself immediately. You are trying to have somebody else to have 80% competence so the business doesn't break when you move up. Hire somebody, promote them internally, or cross-train a teammate, walk them through the SOP that you've built and let them make mistakes. Coach them through it, and within a month, they should be able to run it without you. And step 3, disappear from that role and take on the next level. Once they can handle the job without you, let go. This is the hardest part. You will want to jump in and fix things, and just don't do that. Let them own this process. Your new job is the next level up, building the next system. Step 4, repeat at the next level. This isn't a one-time thing. This is how you climb. Document your new role, train your next replacement, move up again. I did this to go from an executive assistant to a team lead to CTO and to business owner. That works. Okay, so systems 1 through 3 are about the execution, how to build skills, how to deliver value, and how to scale yourself. But none of that matters if you quit too early. And that was my biggest problem for years. So that's the system number 4. System number 4, set the commitment deadline. I killed 5 businesses before I was 25, and not because the ideas were bad, but because I quit way too early. I would build everything, run it for a month or so, see no results, and just walk away. And the problem wasn't the business itself, it was that I never gave any of them a real chance, real runway. I was 18 years old back in Ukraine. I started seeing vape shops pop up in malls and everywhere else, and I thought that this could be a real good niche. So I built the whole thing. I built a full e-commerce landing page, found suppliers, negotiated the wholesale pricing with them, bought a couple hundreds of dollars worth of inventory, set up ads. Everything was ready to go, and I launched. I ran ads for a few weeks, made a few sales, actually broke even, so it was pretty good, but I wasn't seeing the explosion that I expected. You see, I was young and I thought that I would just triple my money immediately once I launch a business, because that's what business is about, right? And when it didn't happen, I just convinced myself that market is just like oversaturated. It's way too late, that this just won't work. So I went ahead and I quit everything. I shut it down and moved on to the next idea that I thought would make me rich quick. A few years later, the vape industry just exploded completely. I personally know people who started later than me and built 8-figure businesses in that exact niche. The problem was never the market. The problem was me. I gave it like 30 days and I should have given it 6 months probably. I did this like 5 times in a row with vape shop, with clothing brand, with gift box ideas, with hookah bar, with the replicas of watches, etc. Same pattern every time. I loved building the business, the website, the ads, the infrastructure, all of that. But the moment I finished building and had to actually run it, I didn't know how long it would take to see the results. So I would just quit. Then we started Pareto Talent, and this time I had business partners, and that changed everything for me. I couldn't just walk away when it got hard. I had a commitment in front of someone else. That accountability kept me in the game long enough to see real results. The business didn't explode in like month 1 or month 2 or month 3, but I stayed in regardless. And by month 6, we had traction. By month 12, we had $1 million in revenue in this business. If I would just quit at day 30 like I did with other businesses, none of this would exist. There's actual research on this. Most businesses don't see real traction until month 6. Most content creators don't see growth until video number 50 or so. Most habits don't stick until day 66 or so. But most people quit at day 30. The difference between success and failure is often just 60 more days of showing up. So give every idea a defined runway. Don't quit based on feelings, quit based on the data that you get after this deadline. If the idea is fundamentally sound, the only question is how long will you commit before you judge it. Here's how you can actually apply all of this. I call it the 90-day commitment system. So step 1, decide if the idea is fundamentally sound to you. Before you commit time, ask yourself, does the market exist? Do people actually pay for this? And are the economics viable for that? If yes, then just move forward. Don't waste time on ideas that can't work. The vape shop was completely sound idea. The market existed. I just didn't give it time. Step 2, set your commitment deadline, like minimum 90 days. This is your runway. You are committing to showing up every single day for 90 days before you evaluate any of the results. Not 30 days, not until I feel like quitting, 90 days at least. For bigger ideas, make it 6 months or a year. Write it down and tell someone, make it real. And step 3, execute regardless of short-term results. The first months will suck. You will get no traction at all, no validation, no dopamine hits. That's normal, that's okay. Your job isn't to see the results straight away, it's to show up. So do the work, build the system, and trust the deadline. And step 4, after the deadline, look at data and decide. At 90 days, now you evaluate. Do you have traction? Is the trajectory pointing up? Are you learning from everything that you're building? And if yes, just keep going. If no, this is fine. You can pivot and kill this idea and move to the next one. Most people quit at day 30 when they should have pushed to day 90 at least. And that's the difference between the 5 failed businesses and 1 successful one. I committed to Pareto Talent, I showed up every day, but that's not what made us to grow to $1 million in year 1 without any ad spend. What made us grow was the system number 5. System number 5 is to always ask. Most people wait for opportunities to come to them, and that's why most people stay stuck. You see, opportunities don't just knock on your door, you have to knock on theirs door. And the crazy part, that most of the time, they will say yes. When we started Pareto Talent, I noticed something. Most companies bury their referral programs in the deepest, darkest corner of their website. They only mention it if somebody else asks for it. And I thought to myself that this is just wrong. So after our first 5 clients or so, I started mentioning our referral program on every single discovery call that I would have. Last slide of the presentation, I would say, hey, if you refer somebody to us, we pay $1,000, and that's it. I didn't push, I just planted the seed. At first, it felt very uncomfortable, and especially asking people who probably weren't going to become our clients. But then I realized that this isn't about me, it's a win-win-win. They make money, we get a client, and their referral gets a premium service. Not everyone can afford us, but they might know somebody who can. So 1 in 5 people gave us a referral before they even became clients. Some people referred multiple of their friends, and the moment that I got first referral directly after a discovery call, I realized that this is like how we grow. In our first year, 70% of our clients came from referrals. We hit $1 million in revenue without spending $1 on ads, and all because I asked. And I use this system everywhere now. If I need an introduction to someone, I would just ask. If I need feedback, I would just ask. If I need help, I would just ask. When I was a freelancer, I never asked for referrals. I was afraid. I wasn't confident in my work. I felt too pushy and too salesy. But I was the one who needed it. I should have asked. So the difference between my failed businesses and Pareto Talent is that I stopped waiting for people to offer. I started asking for what I needed. And most of the time, people would say yes. Here is the truth. Most of the people, they want to help. They just don't know that you need help unless you ask them for it. Most people never ask because they're scared of rejection. But here is what I learned. The rejection rate is way lower than you think. Over 60% of people I asked for referrals gave me at least like one name. Even people who didn't become clients, you just have to ask first. If you don't ask, nobody will open the door. Opportunities don't come to you, you create them by asking. And most people wait while winners just ask. So here's how you can apply all of this. I call it always ask system. So step one is to identify what you actually need. Like get specific. Don't say that I need help. Say that I need like 2 introductions to founders with like 10 plus employees, or I need feedback on like this pitch deck that I built, or I need referrals to people who struggle with hiring. The clearer the ask, the easier it is for people to say yes. Step two is to ask everyone who's relevant, not just warm contacts. Don't filter yourself. I asked for referrals from people who didn't even become clients. And why? Because they understood the value even if they didn't need it right now. Your network is much bigger than you think. Use it. Step three, make it easy to say yes. Don't make people work to help you. Be specific, like, do you know anyone? Be specific. If you ask, do you know anyone? It's just way too broad. But if you ask, do you know 2 entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed and need help delegating? That's pretty much specific. They can picture somebody immediately and tell them what's in it for them. Like in Pareto Talent, we pay $1,000 for anyone who is being referred by you and starts with us. And that incentivizes a lot of people. Step 4. Track your asks and measure what works. You'll be surprised how many people actually say yes, but you need to track it. How many asks turned into intros? How many intros turned into the clients? Measure it and optimize towards that. Do more of what actually works. The system is very simple. If you need something, ask for it. Most people just won't, and that's your advantage. So, 5 systems. That's it. Learn skills to 80%, deliver 1 level beyond expectations, replace yourself at every level, commit to 90 days minimum, and ask for what you actually need. I used these systems to go from an executive assistant to CTO in 4 years, and then I became a business owner with a business that we built from zero to $250,000 in monthly recurring revenue within a year and a half or so. Same systems, just different attitude towards all of that. You don't need more motivation, you need better systems, and you need to show up long enough for them to compound, because systems compound, and that's the whole game. If this video helped, I have another video on 5 AI skills that will make you rich in 2026, so go watch that one. And subscribe to this channel for more valuable content. Thank you. Bye.